This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we reviewed the latest movie in the Sony Spider-Man universe, Kraven the Hunter. Plus, Chris Evans and Haley Atwell set to return in Avengers Doomsday. DC Studios greenlights a Clayface movie, and has Sony finally given up on their Spider-Man-less shared universe? Our reactions to Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Sunday, December 15th, 2024.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us is the subject of all those weird, mysterious drones flying over the East Coast. They're all looking for him from an undisclosed location. It's Rug Boy. Rugs, you safe? You got your tinfoil hat on? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm wearing my tinfoil chastity belt right now because I don't want to be raped by the drone people.
I believe they're all looking for you, so I would stay underground.
Looking for my slack hole. I gotta keep it hidden.
It's either aliens.
After this show, I'm gonna hide in a lead box.
Put the slack hole behind lead. It's either
What are they scanning for, Imran? What are they looking
it's
for?
either aliens or the government, and both things you don't want sniffing around. Come on, I don't know.
Remember them UFOs?
Those UAPs, those WAPs, all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I confused a couple of things there.
it's the WAP.
There's some WAPs flying in the air. What? I think you.
Oh, it's raining WAP.
I think you've misunderstood all of this. But look, the drones are weird. It's the end of the world. Everyone repent. Just have a good time. That's all I'm saying.
Is Jesus gonna help us out here?
No, this is, we're here to take your mind off
Jesus is drone policy.
the rapture, the upcoming rapture.
Maybe he's doing it with drones. He's too lazy to come down.
If Jesus was
Sending drones down.
Jesus did come back, he would use drones. Makes perfect sense. But instead of drones, fellas, we have a movie to discuss and some interesting geek news topics breaking this week. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Couple of fun things to discuss. The Rep kind of breaking two big stories here. Humberto Gonzalez from The Rep getting a lot of eyeballs this week. This first one, headline from him, Chris Evans set Marvel return in Avengers Doomsday.
Oh shit, geek boner.
Yes, he is reporting Chris Evans is returning to the MCU as part of the cast for Avengers Doomsday. It says he will be involved in some capacity, but they don't know the exact nature of his role. Over on the Hot Mic podcast with Jeff Snyder and John Roca, Snyder seemed to think he's going to be Nomad.
Well, I think I have a hot take. He's going to be Gonad.
Will he be Gonad? Will he be Donuts?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just comment on that whole thing.
Gonads.
The last time we just saw him in Deadpool and Wolverine as a fun Johnny Storm cameo, but the last time we saw Steve Rogers MCU, he was an old man having jumped through time, returning the stone, spending his whole life with Peggy Carter and returning to the present as an old man. How's this going to work out? Anthony, comment. What are your thoughts?
The first initial thought I had was, are they casting Chris Evans to play a different character as well?
Yes.
Some sort of villain. And I thought to myself, that'd be almost too cute to do that. To have him and Downey both playing alternate variations of themselves.
I thought that too, because what is the analog to Downey as Dr. Doom? You make Chris Evans another bad guy.
Right.
Well, Nomad's not really a bad guy. Nomad is like
Nomad's still Steve Rogers.
He's Steve Rogers he's not aligned with the government. He's not Captain America. He just goes off on his own.
I thought we kind of got that in Infinity War.
Yeah, the only thing here is if we're just going by where they are in timeline, he is an old man now. So if you're going to use Steve Rogers as an old man, that'd be different. I don't really know what kind of role he's going to have. Maybe he's like an advisor or something like that. The only other thing is if you're doing some sort of time traveling thing, then obviously you could just pull him from a different time.
I think it's going to be that, because follow up the next day, Deadline reporting Haley Atwell reprising Agent Carter role in Marvel Studios.
The fuck?
So if, of course, he's coming back, you got to have Peggy Carter. That tells me they're just going to pull them out of time at some point and bring them into the present.
Do you think he's going to be the caped version with the deep V?
Yeah, so Nomad had a pretty ridiculous costume. If you look it up, yes, it's very like 80s and just not flattering at all.
They got to give him the deep V. They really do. He's got to have a deep V and he's got to have big shiny orbs somewhere on his body.
Let me ask you the bigger picture here. Now, after Marvel trying new characters and experimenting with TV and introducing new characters, they have gone back to the Russo brothers. They've gone back to Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom. They've gone back to Chris Evans and Haley Atwell. Now, how do we feel about that? Because on the one hand, these are their top earners here. These are big earners.
I feel like Marvel's got to get older people, older superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are getting old.
These guys are just in their 50s.
Oh.
Like they need somebody who's like little, maybe in the 70s, probably.
Okay.
Well, we don't know what the story is yet, but what it does tell me is what they tried in phase 4 and phase 5 to build up new heroes. They just haven't gotten those heroes up to the point on the level of these other guys, and they need to go back to the well. I think Marvel's been stockpiling Bengay and Gold Bond for their cast members.
So they're putting the band back together. I think it kind of makes sense, and I think it will get people back into it, fortunately or unfortunately. I don't know. It's just like you're putting your faces back in because everybody missed them and enough time has passed, I guess. You still have your Thor. You could play Thor and Doctor Strange, and is Jeremy Renner going to come back? And is Scarlett Johansson? Is she coming back?
Sure, she'll do it. She's not doing anything.
I feel like they could get them all back.
She's in the new Jurassic Park movie, and if that doesn't do well, she'll be right back at Marvel.
And to your point, Ruggs, if you look at what Chris Evans has been doing, that hasn't been working very well. You got your Gray Man, and he's in Red 1 and Ghosted with Ana de Armas, and none of these are good movies. So, and I think the Russo brothers tried other things, and I don't know.
Yeah, what does he want to do? Doesn't he's Captain America. How are you going to beat that?
He wanted to direct, I thought, and do these indie stuff. And yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, Downey's done well, but Evans, the Russos, the grass isn't always greener. So let's get that fat Marvel paycheck.
Get that paycheck back.
Do this again.
Put the band back together.
Yeah, get all the people to kiss your ass again, Get that nice trailer.
Nice Marvel WAP.
Yeah. Get that WAP that's falling out of the sky right now.
It crashed in my backyard. I'm all right with it. Like, I don't think it's desperate. It's just they know what's going to work. They tried these other things, and they're like, just get everybody back. Sure, listener, let us know what your thoughts are. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. There's a link in the episode description. It is a exclusive closed group just for you. I got to shout out one person, Logan Janis and Scott Sangorum, who are in the group, are members of the Mostly Superheroes podcast, and they recently included us in their Best of 2024 holiday spectacular episode. I will put a link to that in the episode description. I posted it to the group. You can.
How come we don't have a spectacular?
We should. You want to organize it? I need to organize it.
I can do it.
We could do end of the year. It was a weird year for sure.
Yeah, we'll do like a drone special.
Oh yeah, we'll do the best drones of 2024. I like that one model. Yes. It looks like a plane. Sure. Anyways, check that out. Follow them. Go listen to them. You hear their promos on the show. Thank you, guys, for including us. Moving on, I got a little bit of Warner Brothers DC news. James Gunn and company, I guess, have announced that they have greenlit a feature film about Clayface that's going to be written by Mike Flanagan, who's kind of a horror writer-director. He wrote Dr. Sleep. He's written a lot of horror. He directs stuff. And initially, there was a question, what universe is this in? Because, you know, he's got his DC studio universe. He's got the Batman universe. And apparently, not only has he told us this is in the main DCU story, his DCU universe, it also has a date. It's coming out September 2026. Clayface from Mike Flanagan. Very interesting. What do you guys think of the Clayface?
It depends on what they're doing. If they're doing like the cool, like monster Clayface,
yes,
I like that. If they're just gonna do a guy who can change his face, that's kind of.
One interesting quote I saw from James Gunn, which I liked, is while he has all these plans for movies, he said he won't approve a movie until the script is done and it's ready to go.
Right.
Whereas Marvel has done the opposite in a lot of big studios where they put the date out there, they circle the date, and then they just full steam to the date without a script.
Yeah. No matter what happens, get it done.
Yeah. So he's saying he's got to approve a script before it even gets to the movie making phase.
So I've heard Mike Flanagan's been into this for a few years. He tweeted a few years ago he would love to do this. He loves the Clayface from the Batman the Animated Series, which is the Basil Carlo version, right? The guy who is an actor and gets into some kind of accident and becomes this amorphous.
He wants to seem young and be able to act.
Right. So then he becomes this Clayface figure that can change into things. Interesting to note in the Penguin show, Eve, that his mistress Eve, her full name was Eve Carlo. And you saw her changing her appearance at the end to suit what Oswald wanted. I thought that was interesting. Clayface is great in the Harley Quinn show. He's the one who started saying the gaga, and he's hilarious, and he's a crazy, silly character. But the idea here apparently is to do a $40 million horror movie. And the reason there's no director mention is the rumor is James Gunn's going to direct this, which is kind of right up his alley. He kind of loves, it's like a trauma movie, right? It would be a throwback horror, low budget. And I think you could do it without any Batman if you're just going to make, you know.
Sure, let's make movies without the hero.
It's akin to the Sony Spider-Man universe, which we're going to get into in a second. But
well, I'll say this: this gives away what are we watching, but we can talk more about it later.
Yeah.
I have watched the first official entry in the DCU,
the Creature Commandos. Okay,
and judging by that. Thus far, I am on board with whatever James Gunn
So
does.
Clayface also, I think, is going to be in that show in one of the episodes I heard. And maybe, I don't know if it's going to be the same character in this movie. It makes sense that it's not in the... At first, I thought it was going to be in the Matt Reeves Batman universe, but that universe is so weirdly grounded. I don't think I could see a Clayface.
No, I couldn't see a Clayface.
So he's going to put it in his universe, but he still needs a Batman. I don't know who that's going to be. All of this, and then is leading up to the Superman movie. We are close to a trailer, apparently. Tomorrow, when we're recording Monday, December 16th, there is a press event that I think they're going to be showing the trailer to reporters. And then Danny Rickman, Scooper, says it will be released online this Thursday, December 19th. So this week, we may actually get to see James Gunn's Superman trailer.
James Gunn's Superman, I will say, is one of the more interesting things for me because everything is done, including Creature Commandos, as far as superhero.
Yeah.
Has been these misfit team up.
Yes.
Where they're all looking for their humanity or they're looking for family, and it's oddball type stuff.
Yes.
Superman is pretty straightforward.
But there's a lot of people in this movie. So you're absolutely right. What we've seen, and Creature Commandos, he does it again, from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. What is it? It's a group of misfits who have to work together. They don't like each other. It's this kind of the same thing over and over again. Is he good at it? Yes. They're a lot of fun, but it is the same shtick over and over again.
Superman is not a group. I mean, Superman's a misfit to the world initially, but then he's I mean, he's the beacon of everything.
So this is what makes me a little worried, because this one article says the Man of Steel may not be the focus of this first trailer. There's Green Lanterns in this movie. There's Hawk people. There's so many other Mr. Terrific, other superheroes, bad guys in this movie that I hope he doesn't forget about Superman, because he loves his ensemble.
Think he's going to forget? You think he's going to forget?
But can you focus on a guy and make us connect with him instead of a whole team of people? Ruggs, comments on this?
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm curious to see the trailer's gonna be like. They're shoehorning a lot of characters into this movie. Feels like it's overstuffed just on that knowledge alone, but James Gunn is always a surprise. He always seems to deliver. So let's see what happens.
I think it's going to be somebody saying it's going to be Crypto. Like, it's just going to be following Crypto, and he comes and he sits next to Superman, and like, that's your teaser. I could totally see him doing that, though.
Yeah, that can
something silly. But we will, by the time the show comes out the day after, we will have a Superman trailer. Can't wait to talk about that on this week's Discord. It'll be a fun topic to discuss. We can watch it over and over again.
Oh, yeah. We can watch it 1,000,000 times.
We can dissect it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Finally, now you saw the title. We are going to be reviewing Sony's latest Spider-Man universe movie, Kraven the Hunter. But it has to be seen now in a new context, because before this movie came out earlier in the week, another article from The Wrap from Umberto Gonzalez with the headline, "As Kraven hunts for audience, Sony's Marvel Universe takes final bow for now."
Oh, shit.
And suddenly everybody has all these posts and articles saying Sony's Spider-Man universe is dead after Kraven. It's over. It's done. R.I.P. And that's not exactly what the article said and what they've said. So there's been a little bit of misconception. What it appears is if they finally come to their fucking senses and they're done developing spin-off villain side characters without Spider-Man, and they want to focus on actual movies with actual Spider-Man, such as Spider-Man 4, the next Beyond the Spider-Verse movie, and the Nick Cage Spider-Man Noir TV show. So as much as everybody was, me included, excited that they've given up and they've finally just decided to throw it in, I don't think it's over. There's a couple other interesting articles and interesting tidbits I learned, but
hey now, don't dream it's over.
There's freedom within. Oh my God, that's an 80s deep cut. I can't believe you pulled that out. Good for you, Anthony. It's my
great song.
It's my favorite song. Yes, don't dream it's over.
It's a great song.
So look, we're going to talk about this with the review, but we can kind of talk about what the fuck happened with this Sony universe.
I think we got to save that for the end of the review.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that is a topic to discuss when we round out the review of this movie.
Yes.
What happened to Sony.
Yes, because this comes out and then everybody goes or doesn't go to see the movie. I'm sure it hurt a lot of things. But let me just mention two other tidbits that I learned from two other different articles from Variety, the article stating, because we always thought the contract was like, they could use Spider-Man characters, all the 900, but they can't use Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That was contractual. Turns out, it says, according to one Sony source, the deal with Disney never precluded Sony from using Spider-Man in its movies that didn't bear his name. There was a feeling within the studio that audiences would not accept Holland's Spidey suddenly popping up in a live-action film that wasn't a part of the MCU. So that makes no sense. And, you know, everybody, from the minute these movies were announced, everybody could have told you this is not going to work without Spider-Man. And why didn't you just cast another Spider-Man? And I think maybe they're going to do that. And the next thing, the deadline in this latest article, they say they understand the studio is taking this misfire very seriously, and a reset is in store for the non-Spider-Verse, non-Tom Holland Marvel properties. So basically, it's not over.
Well, we knew this was a mistake from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyone could have told you that.
Like, the minute you're talking about making a Venom movie without Spider-Man, and they're like two characters that are completely linked together, and then you want to make a Madam Web movie, I can understand Morbius. I could even understand Kraven. They're not tied to Spider-Man in their origins. They exist without Spider-Man. But you got Madam Web and Venom that are in the Spider-Man comics and are connected to Spider-Man, the character. So it was fucked up from the get-go. I don't understand why they just didn't make their own Spider-Man.
Yes.
I know you want to lend out Spider-Man to the Marvel Universe, but there's constant Batman movies, right? There's Batman.
I don't think
Universe
anybody would have cared if there was two Spider-Mans, especially after you establish that in an MCU movie.
We had Justice League Batman, and we had the fucking the new Batman, the
Pattinson.
whatever, the Pattinson.
And then Michael Keaton was there around too. Good.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was
There was
there.
like 3 Batman
Like,
at one time.
Nobody gives a shit as much as I don't know what their buttholes are so tight about. Like, they got money on the table, they're not even using it. If they would have done the Venom story like the right way, and they would have killed it, it would have made dollars. Like, not even if the one they're like, oh, we did that already, but you did it wrong. Do it right, and then you'll get the money. Because they sandwiched Venom into Spider-Man 3. He didn't have time to breathe. They cast the wrong guy as fucking Eddie Brock, right? And I mean, it was a fucking. They didn't really. It's like just because they did it and they did it wrong. I don't know. I feel like you could do like how many times has Batman fought the Joker? You know,
Yeah, right.
And we'll still watch another one. We'll watch another Batman versus Joker any day. They want to do the fucking Death in the Family. I'm gonna fucking watch that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. Because I've seen Batman before. I've never seen that on screen. All right, I would like to see that.
I mean, we'll do a postmortem on the Sony universe after the review, but Venom tricked them into thinking they could do.
I just think it was a misguide. I just really, I really think there's people making fucking multi-millions of dollars that don't know fucking shit.
It is absolutely the executives.
All right, they don't know shit about what people want.
Yeah.
They don't know shit about comics. They don't know. They don't have the balls to do it right.
Well, I don't know how Avi Arad still has a job right now because he produced Kraven and he produced Borderlands this year. 2 big, huge flops. Here's the thing, though, and we'll get into this when I talk about the box office for Kraven. John Campea did the numbers, and it turns out, as shitty as these movies are, their budgets are all around $120 million, and they're actually profitable.
This one isn't.
It will be overall. The Venom movies alone have made $1.8 million.
This is what made $10 million?
Yes, but even with that, they've made maybe like $250 million profit off these Sony movies because the budgets aren't crazy. So there's no reason. They're not going to stop making these because they can, and they have these characters, and it's making them money. It's making them money.
No, there's one movie. You're taking the success of Venom and saying all the movies are making money when they're not. It's just Venom is making money.
No, well, this shows you right here. This Kraven box office
It's horrible.
is dismal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that's because of the reputation of Madam Web and Morbius before it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
all right. Yeah, it's just what the fuck is happening over there, Sony. I can't wait to get into it.
people have fun with Eddie Brock and Venom. It's a fun duo.
Yes.
All right. It's fun. It's a funny,
It is.
Is
fun.
it everything that it could be with Spider-Man involved?
See,
No.
I would argue that's the one character you can pull off without Spider-Man. At the point that where he was in his popularity, he is the only one you could pull this off because people just love fucking Venom. They don't give a shit about Spider-Man. These others are directly connected to Spider-Man.
No, but they don't like Venom. They like the idea of these two different personalities going at. They don't really do that in the comics.
Right.
That's not really a thing.
Right.
That's something that they invented to make Venom a thing.
Yeah.
It's like a gimmick. So they don't really like Venom. They like the gimmick that they came up with. It's their work, like in the WWE.
It's quite a
they
mess,
say.
Sony.
So
You have much work.
trying to put
we have much
Venom
more to
over.
talk about.
But for now,
Oh, look at Ruggs throwing all the pro wrestling terms in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Put him over.
Yeah, the reverse McGillicuddy on that one.
There you go.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All of a sudden, Ruggs is just gonna knock Imran down and throw a leg drop on him in yellow
Yeah.
tights.
Oh, the chair really
The
hurts.
kayfabe, as they say.
No, Listen, we'll have more words for Sony. We're going to take a break right here for now. Play some promos. Come back. and talk about Kraven the Hunter and what the fuck happened, Sony, right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
And listener, if you enjoy this show, it is a great time to sign up to our Jock and Nerd Patreon fan club.
Jock and Nerd.
Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, link in the episode description, and you can give back for all the hilarity and just us being here week after week. Take your mind off the killer drones that are chasing everyone down. But you get stuff when you support the show on a monthly or annual basis. There is a podcast feed, an exclusive podcast feed for you to enjoy where the shows come out early. You would have heard our instant reactions to this movie on the feed before the review. There are some movie reviews. Ruggs put one up this week. We'll talk about that. You can join us for our monthly Discord hangout. And this month is this week.
Oh, shit.
December 19th, this Thursday, a day after the show post. We'll be talking about the Superman trailer and this movie and whatever else you've been watching. It's always fun. Join up. Check it out. Don't forget, Ruggs, I will remind you guys, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Lots of fun stuff.
I'll be there on the Discord.
Yay.
I will also attend probably later, but I will
contribute.
Oh, shit.
I fucking loved it.
He loves the Discord.
I will also drink vodka during.
Yes, that's the best part. All right, let's get to it, fellas. We are here. We have approached the 6th movie in the Sony Spider-Man universe. We're going to be reviewing Kraven the Hunter. Here's your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Oh boy, Sony, you did it. You did it. You put 3 of these out. Like I said, 6 in the Sony Spider-Man universe. The 3rd one this year after Madam Web, Venom 3, and now the gift of Lee Cravino, the Cravinator. Of course, Kraven's first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man number 15, way back 1964, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. This movie was supposed to come out in January of 2023, and it's delayed a couple of times. On the Rotten Tomatoes, here's where it gets fun. Right now, it's holding a tomato meter of 15%.
Sloppy Jock.
Hey. 72% popcorn meter audience rating for what it's worth.
Right.
Now, the track record for these movies here, I have Sony's Spider-Man universe, not the greatest. At the top of the list, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, 58%. Followed by Venom, The Last Dance, 41%. Followed by the original Venom at 30%. Followed by Morbius and Kraven, tied now at 15%. Madam Web, 11%. This franchise they've given us has not one fresh. It's all the green splat on every movie.
If you add them all together, do they get to 100 yet
you know
or no?
what? Just barely. I don't know.
Do the math.
It takes a lot of effort to do something like that.
I was told there would be no
not
math.
have a movie at all be good critically.
Yes, to put out 6 in a franchise and none of them get above 60. Wow. You know, it also takes a lot of effort for these movies to bomb financially as well as critically. And that's also happened. You did it again, Sony. Before this movie came out, also, I noticed it was removed from like 1,000 theaters. So normally a wide release is like 4,200 theaters. This thing only comes out in like 3,200.
So it came out crippled a little bit.
It came out crippled because of what was around it, your Moanas and your Wickeds and your IMAX screens. The budget of this movie estimated to be about $110 million. It opens to $11 million opening weekend.
Lame.
Wow. Currently,
that's bad.
Worldwide, it's sitting at $26 million. This is the lowest opening weekend for any of these.
How high do you think it's going to get?
Marvel movies.
50 million?
No, I'm gonna guess it domestically ends at 30.
Oh, you think it bottoms out at 30? Yeah.
Might be even lower.
What about worldwide? You think it's going to get to 50?
It's at what, 20 right now?
Yeah.
It's at 26 worldwide.
I'm going to go less than 60.
Madam Web opened to higher than this, 15 million. Morbius opened at 39 million, surprisingly. This is the lowest. The only Marvel films lower than this are Punisher Warzone and Howard the Duck, opened lower. This is at the bottom. But like I said earlier, I heard from Campia, he ran the numbers. These movies are profitable somehow.
Well, no, they're profitable if you put them all in the aggregate. They're not profitable individually.
No, but the six together,
right? That's
have made profit.
That's a great spin job, but that doesn't mean that they're all profitable.
Okay, but they're not. They have not. They've made money. That's what that means.
No one's popping champagne bottles over there.
No, they're not. But they've made them a little bit of. Anyways, it's yeah.
It made nothing.
It's still out. We got to see where it's not going to make a lot of money. Nobody's seeing this.
Jesus Christ.
This one directed by J.C. Chandor. His last movie was Triple Frontier, 2019. It's on.
I like that movie.
It was pretty good. It's on Netflix or Max or something. Ben Affleck, action movie in the woods. Not bad. The writing, this is from a screenplay by Richard Wenk, who has written on all the Equalizers. And this is great. Art Markham and Matt Holloway. These guys wrote on Iron Man. They wrote Uncharted. They wrote Transformers The Last Night, Men in Black International, and guess what they wrote, fellas? Punisher Warzone.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Tying it all back to our last week's What the Fuck Happened. Same guys. So that explains a little bit, I think.
They write movies that no one goes to see.
Yeah, also opened very low. The opening weekend of Kraven already made more than Punisher Warzone's entire box office run. Take that for what it is. Anyways, R-rated, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Anthony.
Yes.
What happens in Kraven the Hunter?
Kraven the Hunter, or Mr. Kravenov, is about this hunter named Kraven.
You don't say.
Who as a teenager gets imbued with powers by a lion and a random girl when he is attacked by a lion on a hunt with his father, he was a nefarious Russian. And by getting these powers, he realizes that he doesn't want to continue his dad's legacy and runs away, leaving behind his dad and his little brother, and goes off killing people, being a hunter, killing bad people. All of a sudden, he gets wrapped back into his father's ecosphere and his brother's ecosphere when someone threatens his family, and he has to go back in and figure out what the hell is going on and hunt those motherfuckers. So there you go.
That is a pretty good recap of this fucking disjointed as fuck movie. I gotta give you props. That's very impressive, because I could not tell you.
That would have taken you 20 minutes.
But just the way I had trouble. I was like, what was this movie about? It's a mess. All right. Anyways. Oh, I forgot to mention the cast. That's kind of important.
Go for it.
Let's do that real quick. We got Aaron Taylor Johnson as the lead of Sergei Kravenov. Old Mr. Kickass, old Quicksilver. He's also in Nosferatu. He's in like good movies. Ariana DeBose playing Calypso. We got Fred Heckinger playing his brother Dmitry Kravenov. We just saw Fred in Gladiator 2. He was one of the emperors. We got Alessandro Nivola playing Alexei Sistovich, who is the Rhino. We have Christopher Abbott playing the Foreigner. Russell Crowe as playing the father, Nikolai Kravenov. and some people playing young versions of them, and some other people. I think that's your main cast there. But in this cast, I will note you have 2 Oscar winners in Ariana DeBose and Russell Crowe. Anthony, did any of this add up to be anything good?
So, I mean, leading up to this movie, we were, at least for me, well, all of us, I think, were pretty skeptical that this was going to be any good. They decided to release the first 8 minutes to build up some hype. I wasn't exactly anticipating this movie, but I also thought maybe it could be silly fun. If you caught my instant reaction on Patreon, plug for the Patreon, my thoughts have not changed. This movie is just absolute dog shit. I mean, it is one of the worst movies I've seen this year.
Whoa.
And that's saying something because I saw Madam Web.
Yeah. Yikes.
I mean, this movie, they had to try to make it this bad. I just don't get it. First off, the amount of ADR in this movie, why can't they record their lines with their lips moving on screen correctly?
Listen, every movie does ADR to some extent. It needs to.
Yes, but this movie doesn't hide it very well.
Yes, it's the art of how you do it.
Yeah, so the amount of ADR, the amount of times I was sitting there and I started laughing at lines that weren't supposed to be funny, the semblance of the plot, I mean, the forward momentum, the way it's cut, the some of the CGI, I mean, just this movie is just for lack of a better term, an abomination. This is horrible. I don't know what you got. I didn't listen to your interaction, so I'm more than excited to hear that. But fuck, this movie sucked. I mean, it's 2 hours too long. It's like Sony keeps doing these throwback style 2000s movies in the vein of Elektra and Catwoman, and I just don't get why they continually churn out movies that are that bad. It sucked. This was horrible. This is a horrible viewing experience. It's terrible.
Yep.
There's nothing. I have nothing good to say about this movie.
How many people in your theater?
I saw it on a Saturday matinee, so probably 12. So probably like 15.
Yeah.
But I mean, this movie is just, it's fucking horrible. It's horrible. It's competing with Madam Web. I don't know where I'll land on it.
I know.
Let's. I mean, they just the shifts in tone, the lines that are said that are meant to be. I mean, I wish I could have taken some notes because I was in a theater. I wasn't an asshole, so I didn't take down notes. But I mean, some of the fucking lines that they have. I mean, the Calypso just being a like voodoo girl, magician, and then a lawyer, and then an archer. Like whatever the plot needs her to be, she just is. I mean, it's fucking horrible. There's so much to talk about. Go ahead, guys.
Rugs. How are you feeling at the end of this?
I actually didn't hate it as much as Anthony did. I don't think it's a good movie by any means.
Yeah.
And I think that the Calypso character is probably one of the worst characters ever put on screen. The actress is not her fault. They CGI'd her mouth at one point in time to do the ADR, and it looked like, when like Conan O'Brien
does the clutch cargo or whatever.
Yeah, he would like do the mouth with the,
It's not as bad. Like Madam Web does it way worse. It's more noticeable.
Oh,
but
shut up! It does. They do it every time Calypso is on screen. She is ADR.
They do it a lot.
They do it a lot.
They're clearly trying to cover something up that they didn't like in the script. They took something out.
Yeah,
they changed something. And look, in no way is this Kraven the Hunter. First of all, he doesn't have fucking tights with little fucking leopard skin fucking prints on it, and he doesn't have little slippers on. That's what my favorite part of Kraven.
He's barefoot. He's barefoot.
He's just like a normal dude most of the time, and he doesn't have the slick back hair.
Doesn't have a Russian accent.
Mustache. Yeah, he's just not Kraven, but Kraven doesn't have like lion powers. He doesn't have like the Nacho Libre stuff going on where he gets a drop of blood in his system with this magical thing, and but I did enjoy some of the action sequences when they were taking his brother in the car, and I thought that was kind of fun.
There's some
even though it was
decent
like
action.
really bad.
Yeah.
Even though it was really bad, I still was like, all right, at least I'm having fun in watching this action scene. It's not a great action scene, but it's like, okay, it's entertaining enough for me to like whatever. So I don't know what to say about this movie. Is this a bad Kraven movie? Because it doesn't reflect Kraven in any way.
Yeah.
It's a bad Spider-Verse movie. It's just a badly assembled movie, even in its own right. Like the way that they deal with Calypso, and like she's just sitting there with her grandmother in the windiest fucking area in the world
With tarot cards that don't fly away.
That don't fly
Explain
away.
that. No, there's a lot. Yes.
And then she immediately like just does this like 2-card draw. It's like, all right, I'm gonna give you now this fucking vial that you're just gonna use on the first asshole that you see.
Listen, we'll get into all that. They
And
don't explain
that,
anything.
it's like it's just the writing is just who they're writing it for, like people who are have like a 3 IQ, like an IQ in the fucking in the single digits. It's really bad. So I don't know, but was it as bad as Madam Web? I don't think so. I feel like it was, like Madam Web was like, I don't even understand what the fuck that movie was. There was too many characters. This at least it stuck. It kept it simple at least.
Did it though?
And it told the story of this guy's origin, and you can see the arc of like him wanting to fucking supplant his dad, and his dad, he wanted to fucking get rid of his dad, and he figures out a way to do it with the fucking bear.
Yeah. So okay,
Whatever.
Look, my opening thought when this movie ended, I was like, it was, I had low expectations, and it was exactly what I expected. I was like, Sony did it again. You gave me an unimaginative kind of cash grab movie. I was legit like dozing off in the first half in that super long flashback. It was way too long.
That flashback's
We will
so
get
long.
into that. And despite like the decent action in between, it's fucking boring. The script is a mess. The movie doesn't know where I didn't know where it was going. There's no plot until like halfway through when the brother gets kidnapped. I was like, what is happening here? I'm not sure who the movie is for. The dialogue is horrible. And I was so torn because part of me, the teenage Spider-Man fan, is getting references to all these Spider-Man things, but the way they do it is absolutely the worst, almost offensive way.
They just throw it
to
at you.
shoehorn Spider-Man shit in this movie without Spider-Man. I didn't give a shit about any of these characters.
Why can't anything be earned anymore?
Ariana DeBose
why do they just throw it? Like they just hand wave it away.
Russell
They
Crowe's
just throw it.
accent is so fucking cartoony and over the top, and there's so many things. So let's just dive in. We saw the first 8 minutes, and they showed you that again. And there's an extra little bit where he like stares.
That was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, well, that was one of them. He stares down a wolf. He jumps in, and you're like, "This is great." He's going around the world. He's fucking taking down poachers. Dope action scene, and then they hit you with a fucking 25-minute flashback teenage origin, and I did not catch a lot of what was going on here because I immediately started just dozing off. I was like, holy shit, what happened? Okay, so his father picks him up from the school, goes, your mother committed suicide. She killed herself. She was weak. Great way to tell them. And then they just go on this hunting
What an
trip.
asshole.
Well, he's such an asshole. We get it. He's an asshole. Then you have the hunting trip and the actual origin, which is just wacky as all hell because Alexei is there for some reason. The guy who's the rhino later. I don't know why he was there. But what do we think?
He wanted to be a partner of the guy.
Yes,
and the guy
and then
no.
he turned on him, so that's why he's mad. But what did we think of this origin of Sergey
Sucks balls.
kind of connecting with a lion, protecting his brother, getting mauled by the lion, and just happens to be this random girl, Calypso? By the way, did you know her name was Calypso? They only said it like 400 times. They were like,
was horrible.
Calypso, with this random serum, this random guy, and then a drop of blood mixed with the serum gives him some big powers, and then she leaves a tarot card, which he keeps and still has.
It reminded me
fuck
of
is going on?
when they made Catwoman and she falls and
Yes.
the cats are just all around.
Yes.
And she's like takes on the power of the cats. It's just super lazy. I mean, I get that comics sometimes can be real lazy, but fuck, man. Like, bit by a lion and, like you said, Ruggs, the drop of blood, and then the girl just stumbling upon her. And
then he sees mystic ruins and writing and some shit, and they don't explain any of it ever.
Look, the point is that the comic books were written in a time for like young kids to read.
Yes.
They were dumbed down, and but when you're making a movie, now you have the time to actually make it make sense. Give it a little bit more verisimilitude. Give it a little bit more oomph. Like, actually, and the thing is that they invented this. They could have invented anything. They weren't bound. They weren't bound. Like when you're doing Spider-Man, you're bound to this radioactive spider. So, okay, now you got to make it work. But they weren't bound to anything. They could have literally done anything.
There are
and that
so
was
many
the
better
best
things
result.
they could have done story-wise in this movie that you're just like, why wouldn't you just do this? Like, you develop this father. I thought Russell Crowe was going to be in it more as the evil father that he's got to take down. What side is the brother on? And they just kind of waste him, and he seems to be just phoning it in, really.
And he becomes the chameleon.
And then the brother, if you read the comics, that's the thing. These guys who wrote this, same thing in Punisher Warzone. This stuff, if it was in a comic book, you could kind of get away with it. But when they translate it to screen, they forget that it's a movie and not a comic book, and it doesn't work. Because in the comics,
also love that the brother is just the dude from Gladiator 2. Just playing the same pup, playing some creepy dude. In this
creepy,
too.
kind of cowardly singer, and it's so heavy-handed where his father is like, he could do any voice like a chameleon. Oh, get it? Voice like a chameleon. And they're just dubbing over other people's voices. He can mimic people. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So after that, he runs off and he fucks off and he kills some poachers as a kid. He finds the fucking dome to live in. And then I
love that he feels compelled to run away, but also is like, I'm going to leave my brother here.
Yeah. You don't give a shit about your brother. You don't like your father. He doesn't even say I'll come back or anything. He's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then we just jump to the present and he's just Kraven now. It's like, it's almost like a Call Me Jigsaw moment. It's like, yeah, call me Kraven. People know about him. I do love the scene where he takes down the poachers and he bites the dude's nose off. The action is bloody. It's violent.
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not bottom of the barrel. It's just par.
But you can tell though. I mean, even the way he's moving around, like there's a
lightness,
it's not
like a floatiness almost.
Yeah, like when he's jumping down, it's not Marvel. Even Marvel Studios does it better.
Yeah.
Like you can tell the way they edit it. It's just like, and he like. It doesn't look right.
There's
like
no
everything
weight to
kind of
it.
the CGI on some of his movements is just off. It just doesn't look right.
A lot of the time he's doing like Spider-Man type shit, which was very confusing to me. Why are you making him crawl around? That whole car chase scene, the car chase to the helicopter when he's on top of the car, that's like a scene from the Spider-Man video game. Like he's being Spider-Man. I will say that scene where the brother's kidnapped because he's sleeping out in the park for some reason. And the car chase to the helicopter that reminded me of Steve Rogers holding a helicopter. That's probably the best scene in the movie. It's a pretty dope chase. And, it shows how strong he is and he's trying to hold back the fucking.
I feel like, is this like, why aren't you Captain America?
Yeah. It's kind of like Captain America. And if the movie had more of that would have been great. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. But think about that scene though. It's pretty ballsy because he's on the car, he's bouncing off things, he's trying to fucking hold it back, he's trying to
punching through bulletproof glass. Yeah,
and he's trying to do shit. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That shot where he jumps and throws the fucking spear right into the dude, and I was like, that's dope. That was fucking great.
But yeah, that's just it's not like. It's memorable enough that when we're talking about it, I remember it pretty clearly. But I know in like 2 weeks I'll forget about it.
Yeah, but you're. I mean, this. Yeah, I agree. Yes. The action is okay, but the movie is just the crap around it. So I mean, like for example, I don't understand what Aaron Taylor Johnson's accent even is. I don't understand how. I don't know how Russian kids growing up in England have American accents.
Well, they went to school in America, but
they went to school. Well, how long were they in school in America? Clearly, they had. If they were in school, and they had to have been in school since they were at least kids,
right?
Like, there's no way they're going to have an American accent without being in school for at least, I would say, good 3-4 years, at least.
Yeah.
At least, and they'd have to be there when they were young.
Yeah.
If they got there when they were older, they're not developing a full-on American accent.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Even Aaron Taylor Johnson's like a fine. I mean, he clearly got ripped and jacked.
Yeah,
props to him. But the lines they had for this guy. I mean, there's one scene. Anytime him and Calypso are interacting, you notice the ADR.
Yeah,
it's not the ADR to me is just as bad as Madam Web. So I'll put that out there. Every time it's a wide shot, it's ADR. Every time. the way they're interacting. I mean, the script is written for her to be just whatever the script needs. The fact that she's gives him the card, and then serendipitously is now a lawyer that he connects with.
And he finds her.
Well, shut up, real quick. He finds her, and he just casually throws out there. They're sitting in a park, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm killing everybody," basically. And she just sits there, and like the immediate first reaction for any person would be like, "What the fuck? Who are you?" Like, I'm good and away from you.
Yeah,
she just sits there and is like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Well,
that's crazy.
They had something there that they could have used. They didn't. She made him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so she's responsible for him. Yeah. So like they could have used that in some way and made it a cool thing where she's like feels compelled now. She created this fucking killer, but
right.
He's killing bad guys, but so she's conflicted. They didn't have anything. They could have had something cool like that, but they didn't do that. They just
there's another thing too where they're in the house now. He captures her and because he needs to protect her in the house. And I forget what the exact dialogue is prior, but they're talking about something. And then the next line he goes, it's just out of nowhere. He goes, "So I've been trying to figure out how you made this serum." And it's just like, what? Like the flow in the conversations is not realistic at all. It's written really badly, and then read even worse on screen.
Yeah, Ariana DeBose, she's good. She's a good actress, and I'm surprised how bad this was. Even Russell Crowe, like they're both really good. They're Oscar winners. The script doesn't help them. Nobody is good in this.
No, Jackson Pollock is horrible in this from Face Off.
Castor Troy, Jackson.
Castor. No, not Castor Troy. Jackson Pollock.
Yeah,
the fucking little brother.
Yeah. Christopher.
He's horrible in this. I mean, for halfway through at least half the movie, I'm going, what conflict are we building towards?
There's no conflict.
Who do I want to see this protagonist even kill? Like what's happening? Are we just hanging out this entire movie? What's going on?
Why does he have a condition that makes him into a rhino?
So let's talk about the rhino because this guy, first of all, he makes some weird noises. Did you catch that one scene where he's standing there and he gets the bad news and he's just like, I don't know. He makes some noise. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But he has a camelback full of medicine to keep him from becoming the rhino. And when we want to know how did he become the rhino, he just tells you, I went to see this doctor. And the doctor is Miles Warren, which as a Spider-Man fan, you're like, that's the guy. That's the Jackal. He cloned Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. But
is that the rhino's origin in the comics?
I know. He has nothing to do with the rhino or Chameleon in the comics, I don't think. So they're just shoehorning some shit in here, like all the Daily Bugle newspapers. We get it. But the rhino, final look of it, I'm torn on this too. It looks bad,
not bad,
but it's kind of what it would look like because the actual comic book costume is also kind of ridiculous looking. I don't know if you could make that work and make it. It's about as comics accurate you could get, but it doesn't look good still.
I just think it's not what it could have been, but it's better than the fucking Paul Giamatti one.
Yeah. The way the rhino looks is probably the worst, the least of this movie's problems.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, it doesn't look good. Let's be clear. Yeah. It doesn't look good. I don't really understand why the serum thing is a thing. Like, why do you even need that?
A lot of serum going around.
But yeah, just make it so that he can control it. I don't know. I just don't. That's stupid.
Can't control.
This movie's just fucking stupid, man. It is a horrible movie.
Then there's The Foreigner. There's too many fucking bad guys in this movie, first of all. And The Foreigner is a Spider-Man villain from the 80s. I remember him, but he was just like an assassin.
Isn't that a band?
It is also a band, yes, Foreigner. But the original, he didn't have powers. He was just like a really good assassin. He was like kind of like the Punisher. This, I don't know. I don't understand what he does here. Does he hypnotize you? You see him, he takes off his glasses, he counts to 3, and time pauses, and he can just walk around you and shoot you. And it was completely pointless. He didn't even need to be in the movie.
No. It's a weird add-on too. I mean, I guess it's a little different than the animal powers, so give him credit for that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's people
just have powers in this movie.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I thought the scene at the monastery was okay action wise, kind of the ambush they set up with them blowing the wall and then down he falls.
Which one?
When he goes to save his brother at the Turkish monastery and then they fire like a fucking rocket power grenade at him and they all fall. And shit. And,
It's fine. It's not like, you know what? The action sequences are of a big budget movie. They don't feel Netflixy or anything. They feel like you're watching a real movie, but then everything else that's around it is so terrible that, and the CG is like not really. So even though the action sequences and the explosions and the locations are good, but there is something about the way he moves that's a little rubbery, and so but you could kind of like get past that a little bit. We've seen bad CG before, nothing new, like with the Flash and shit like that. And The Flash is a big blockbuster movie they spend millions and millions of dollars on. So it's giving you some of those big money scenes, but everything is just done so poorly.
It's executed, it's written in a way that just slams you over the head with stuff where you're just like, why are you spoon feeding me everything?
It's all exposition. All the dialogue
why are you
spoon
and why is everything exposition, and why does this plot have no momentum? Oh, I know why. Because you keep fucking spoon feeding me things.
They keep changing
as if I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally written as if everyone in the audience is a child.
Yeah, a little bit, yes.
Like everything's explained with I went to a doctor.
I went to a
once.
doctor. How did you get powers? I went to a doctor. How did you get powers? I also
drank
went.
something.
I did. There was these.
Right.
I think it's hilarious when he finds Calypso and he's got the tarot card, and she's like, "Oh, I just happened to have the whole set with me." This is what a coincidence. She's so forced. So just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, even the foreigner scene, like. Out of nowhere, he's caught by the foreigner.
Yes,
he's about to die.
Let's talk about this scene.
All of a sudden now, Calypso, nowhere throughout the rest of this movie has this. All of a sudden, I think they hint at it very randomly one point. All of a sudden now she's a fucking archer.
She has the crossbow.
Gets right between the head.
Yeah,
and it's like,
she's very accurate.
Why does this plot need her to just be, whenever there's something that needs to be written out, find a way to write themselves out of the hole? It's Calypso that is the character that gets them out of the hole.
And she just pops up and does it and then leaves.
I need to find someone.
Yeah.
I'll hit up Calypso, who now is a lawyer and has connections.
Calypso.
So they do this thing in the movie that it's really annoyed me too. So he goes to, in the opening scene, he goes to the prison, kills the guy.
Yes.
And then he joins his team on the plane.
Right.
With the lady's talking to him, but you never see the lady.
No.
We never see that fucking lady.
Yeah.
And the lady comes back and like picks up the other lady.
Who is this person?
Yeah,
not even Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs could save this movie.
Yeah, there's no like a lot of the movie. This movie over explains a lot of things, but then does not explain how Kraven makes any money, has this global connection to this lady on a plane.
Yeah, what is this?
Like, I would love to see,
like
at least the other rich man movies like Batman or Iron Man, they explain, he's rich.
Yeah.
He got a rich family, blah, blah, blah. We know that fucking Kraven ran off from his dad when he was 15. What money does he have?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
No one's paying him.
How is he making money?
Who's paying him? What is he? How is he making a little? How does he live in a freaking ecosphere in the middle
He
of
lives in
fucking
the
Russia?
biodome with fucking Pauly Shore. He's got a list. He's got a list of people. Does that pay him? Somebody paying you to take down this list? What are his powers? What exactly are his powers?
That's not a Kraven thing, right? That's not his power.
No,
right?
But in the comics, Calypso does give him a serum that enhances his strength and stuff. But he's scaling the wall
not
like
alive.
Spider-Man. He's not.
No, but he doesn't do all
He's
this
got
shit.
superpowered vision and fucking speed and straight, and he can run. He's running like Tom Cruise in this fucking thing.
He can spot something a mile away.
Yeah.
Like he sees a fucking cigarette on the ground. Oh, there it is.
His eyes glow orange like lions. I don't know. It's vague at best. So let's talk about the end because it's just ridiculous. The foreigner has a toxin and manages to hit him in the forest. And this toxin brings out your deepest, darkest fears. And what does he hallucinate? What are his fears? It's spiders, of course. Oh, get it? He's afraid of spiders. And I was like, really? Fucking really? Right. That's when Calypso kills him out of nowhere. Then we get that whole scene with the Buffalo Stampede and a full CGI rhino.
The same buffalo from before.
Yes, with the missing horn comes back
What the
to
fuck
save
is
Kraven because they're buddies. Because this Kraven is buddies, friends to all animals. Clearly, he can talk.
He's clearly the Aquaman of the land.
Yes, he's like Dr. Doolittle, and he is friends of animals and killers of poachers.
He wrestles like a cheetah or something, leopard or something.
Yeah, and he's like,
that's his buddy.
I knew him since he was a cub. I was like, okay, we get it. But how does
And then the leopard later on attacks the group.
Oh, it
group
does help him. And you think, how is he going to kill Kraven? How's Kraven going to kill Rhino, who's covered with indestructible skin? They pull a Death Star maneuver where you just stab him in the hole where the fucking juice goes. Of course, the one little weak spot will take him down, and that's what happens.
If you were like 11 years old, would you like this movie?
Oh, maybe 10 or 11.
I think I would like it. I think I would like it, but then also go, this movie's really boring in parts.
It is really boring, and I kind of wish I saw it with like a rowdy crowd that's ready to laugh at a bad movie, because maybe that would have been entertaining. Because it is.
I was sitting there laughing at a lot of different
like
parts.
Madam Web. It's unintentionally hilarious. Some of these fucking lines. So, anyways, they kill Kraven. I mean, Kraven kills Rhino, and then he realizes, oh, it was his dad that sent the Rhino after him. His dad's been the bad guy this whole time. Finds him camping in the forest, and the dad confesses, "Yeah, I used your brother. I had him kidnapped so that you would take out the Rhino." And what does Sergei do? He takes all the bullets from his guns, and I guess he told a bear earlier to just kill my father, because he walks away and a grizzly bear attacks and kills Nikolai. Great. Jump to 1 year later. It is Dimitri's birthday again, because he visited him on his birthday. And now Dimitri is running the club and the criminal empire for some reason. And he hates Kraven because of what he did to his dad. I don't know why, unclear. And they're walking down the bridge, and suddenly he turns, and this little guy has the head of Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's very weird. And he goes, what happened?
It's very strange.
It's like a tiny body with Aaron. He goes, what happened? He goes, I went to see a doctor, and now this is me. He is, and then it turns and gives you for a split second a comics accurate chameleon face mask before.
And then we cut to Aaron Taylor Johnson going to Nikolai Kravanov's place.
Father, yes.
Where his father, since he knew he was going to be killed, left him a note.
Yes. Saying, I'm proud of you, son. Here's the mane.
And a vest.
Here's the vest, the mane of the lion you killed that made you. And he puts it on at the very end and sits down, and movie over. What the fuck? You couldn't have put this on earlier.
And poses as like the comic book cover, right?
Dude, there was scenes in the trailer where he's like wearing this vest and twirling a spear with fire. None of that shit is in this movie. Why couldn't he have put this on before the last scene? That would have been nice. Why couldn't it become Kraven? And then the whole time, Aaron Taylor Johnson is like, this is a Kraven origin villain. By the end, I'm going to be the villain. And I'm like, are you really? I don't see how you're a bad guy now. None of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess that at the end is him becoming the villain Kraven, and I'm just like, what? Like, how does he?
What exactly?
Is that how? Because that's not what I took out of that. I just took out of that. Oh, he's wearing this thing now.
He's like,
I didn't take that he's now the villain.
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get that either. And now, like, but to set up a chameleon and a conflict on all this shit, what are you doing? It just kind of made me mad that they're shoehorning all the Spider-Man shit in for no reason that leads to nowhere. A lot of people compare.
There's no tact to what they do. There's nothing. The people at Sony, they don't know how to do subtle. They don't know how to weave in things and put little nuggets in there that, if you miss it, it's fine. But if you don't miss it, it's like a little thing, like an Easter egg. They don't do that. Yeah. They bang you over the head with shit over and over. They make Aaron Taylor Johnson's face on a little guy's bot. Like, they just do things. It's just so fucking stupid and brain dead. They're the worst. They don't know how to make movies. I honestly don't understand how things. I know Ruggs doesn't think this is that bad. I don't know what Imran thinks, because Imran will shit on movies and then give them 7 out of 10.
It's pretty bad.
But this movie is awful. I can't believe that this movie ran through the scripts, and clearly people thought it was awful because the amount of ADR in here. I wonder what the dialogue was previously.
They changed,
to that.
Yes. It was chopped up and put back together. Clearly Frankenstein back together. I feel like the Rhino stuff was inserted. The Calypso stuff was all chopped up. I don't know.
The Calypso stuff is the worst. That is legitimately horrible.
Yeah.
It really is a Frankenstein film.
It's a Frankenstein film. Now, maybe I feel like I've been softened by Morbius and Madam Web, and that's why I wasn't.
Morbius is leagues better than this. In my opinion.
I wasn't expecting.
And Morbius is also shit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But at least you have Matt Smith twirling around like he's in fucking.
Yeah.
He thinks he's Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker.
But I will say, I think this has the best action out of Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven.
Yeah, the ending of Morbius was kind of a letdown. It just kind of was like, but I feel like this had better action set.
Sure.
But it's still
it's also rated R, right?
It's rated R, and they kind of waste that. Like, you could have given me a romance scene with Calypso. Like, you could have been like, do something interesting with the R.
That whole thing was. I mean, you can tell that it probably intended to make them a romance, a thing.
Yeah,
but they like never do that.
No.
It's just fucking. Oh my god. I don't have enough bad
but
things.
You know
to
what?
Say about
I felt
this
like
movie.
it had potential. Like you with the Russell Crowe with
potential
with the
with
brother.
what?
You have to with the story with some of the things like you could have done something way more interesting with
which story did
I
you
would
think
have
had
focused
potential
on the
there?
family and the father and the brother and just like the mafia and
I feel like I kind of agree with Imran. I feel like they had appropriate things in there, like puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't deliver with them.
Yeah.
They just they fucked it up each time.
Yeah,
like they had, because like as I said, they got this actress that is like an Oscar winning actress and talented lady, but then they ADR'd the shit out of the story and they chopped it up, and they didn't seem to have faith in their idea, and the set pieces were the set pieces, and I feel like they edited some of them out. Like there's some action scenes they edited out. So I don't even know what they were doing. It seems like it was just faultily done. Like I think the producers and the writers hacked this to bits and made it really terrible, and with the ADR and all that stuff. So, but I think that the initial idea of, okay, Kraven's this dude who uses his power to fucking stop people like his dad, and then finally he gets his dad. He fucking realizes his dad has to be taken out. He takes him out. And okay, that's fine. That's like a good enough arc there.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't do anything with the other characters. It's just
there's too many, and it's not great.
It does get sidetracked with the whole Rhino stuff,
Yeah.
and then the brother and all the
and Calypso.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. They just
such a weird thing, man.
I feel like that they just think that people who go to the movies are just really
stupid.
dumb.
Yeah, how stupid do you think your audience is? Oh,
it's
my
an
God.
insult to your intelligence when you're watching these movies. Because, like, I understand if you're watching fucking Power Rangers the movie in 1997 or something like that, you could just.
It's a throwback in a bad way. No,
and you're like, you don't care. It's just a fucking movie, and nobody takes it seriously. But
the serum. What the fuck was the serum? In the comics, Calypso does do this, but they explain the whole time. I'm like, you better explain what the fuck this thing is, and they never do.
Yeah, why the serum? It's like the first scene is her mom or is it grandma, whatever, giving her the serum, and it's like, wait. Why?
Why are you just giving this away? Does this thing cure cancer?
Why is this the first scene?
It's like if someone handed you plutonium.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, and it's just very
it's a magic drug
and you would hand it to
a fucking
I don't know. Would
teenager?
you hang it to a teenager like that?
She just wasted it on the first guy she saw. She didn't know what it was.
Okay, let's say, for example, let's say they're not in a fucking windstorm and they're sitting somewhere and they set it up really well. She's like, you're old enough to get your first reading. I've never done this with you before. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm very concerned about this. And she pulls the cards, and then she has this reaction like, oh my God, I could see from this is fucking, they didn't handle it like that.
No.
They were just like, they flip a card over like, oh, here you go.
Yep.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
So, and she, she's like, oh my God, I need to tell you this thing, and I'm trusting you with this. This is really big responsibility, and she just has to go and dig around for it. She just doesn't pull it out of her pocket. Like she has to go in the back and get it, and like dust it off of somewhere, open it up, and to blow the dust off of it and go, okay, I've been protecting this for fucking all my whole life, and I just read your cards, and it's a sign that you should get this. And like already you give it some weight, but they don't do that.
No.
They just insultingly just hand wave it. They just, okay, here you go. And it's just, when you do that, it's like, it's so lazy.
Yeah.
And you're like, you didn't earn anything. And it bothers me when you watch it. And it's annoying. And it's insulting to the audience.
Yeah, it's lazy, and what's crazy though is that a lot of the stuff is lazy. Yet they found a way to make this a 2-hour movie, and I'm just going, you don't have enough interesting things to make this a 2-hour movie. This should have been an hour and a half.
90-minute, absolutely should have been.
You should have had a fun time with this and just run through it. But instead, they wanted to go into an elaborate origin. They wanted to do this.
Too many bad guys.
They wanted to do 3 bad guys. They wanted to do this weaving of the bad guys. Where now, by the end, you find out that fucking the dad had did a double cross on his son and blah blah blah. And then you want to add on at the end that now the brother's a villain and that he's a villain. And it's just like, guys,
what are you doing?
You guys aren't fucking smart enough to write this shit.
I mean, they did the same thing with Madam Web at the end. But like, oh, here's them in the costume again for a second. Something that's never going to happen. Look, the worst thing about this for me is they're burning these great Spider-Man villains. Apparently, Sam Raimi wanted to use Kraven in Spider-Man 4 back in the day. And then recently, Ryan Coogler wanted him for Black Panther. Sony said no. John Watts wanted to use him in a Spider-Man movie. Sony said no. And now they have burned any hope of me actually seeing Kraven's Last Hunt brought to the big screen. This is akin to Zack Snyder destroying Frank Miller's Dark Knight by him using those images in his movie. And now if you ever do it, it's not going to be as earned because he already fucked it up. This is the same thing with one of Spider-Man's greatest stories.
Yeah, they just want to use it in the trailer to get the fanboys talking.
It's just to get people. Yeah, it's just a crash grab.
And they don't earn it. And oh my God, it's fucking terrible.
Shoving in Daily Bugle fucking newspaper mastheads and all these Spider-Man references and just no. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
this is making me mad.
I know
now.
it is kind of a little bit what they're doing, but is it over? Yes. No. Look, let's wrap it up like this. Let's rate it, rank it. Give me your final thoughts, and I do want to talk about a little bit the legacy of this bullshit that the damage they've done. Maybe Anthony.
Yeah. So I think let me just looking at my Sony. I think I landed on this being just slightly better than Madam Web. I had Madam Web as a 0.5 star out of 5 on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
which would mean it was a 1 out of 10 if we're doing out of 10.
Yikes.
On Letterboxd, I had this as a 1 star, so that means it's a 2 out of 10. So I'm going to rate it a 2 out of 10. It is absolutely horrible. Do not give any money to this. You should definitely, if you're ever going to watch this, you need to watch this with either stoned
or drunk.
Or watch this with a bunch of other people and be in the mood to just laugh at stupid shit.
Yeah.
The problem with this movie, though, is similar to Madam Web, although it doesn't have. I have to look up the lines, but it's kind of similar to Madam Web in that it's not bad enough to be so bad it's good,
Right.
like The Room or something like that.
Yes.
It's just actually really bad. So it's not even, doesn't even have the rewatchability of, oh man, that was so fucking stupid. Let's watch it again because we want to see how stupid this is. It's just fucking stupid and not and boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 out of 10. It's the second worst Sony Spider-Verse movie for me. And I could not have had a more terrible time at the movie theater.
Fun. Rug.
Although I did laugh a few times, and that was the most redeeming thing. There was an older couple next to me, and I thought they probably thought I was insane because I just was laughing at certain scenes. Yeah.
Some funny shit. Rugs, where are you going to put it?
I feel like it's tied with Morbius for me. I think I gave Morbius like a 4 or something like that. A 4, just slightly, I don't know. It has a little bit better action than Morbius. I'll give it a 4.5.
Okay. And then
it's a terrible movie. Yeah. It's got action. If you like action, it's got some action in it. You're gonna wait for it, but it'll be there. It's not a good movie though.
And then out of the 6, Madam Web is at the bottom for you too.
Yeah.
God, I am so torn because while Madam Web is hilariously bad, like it's campy, laugh out loud bad when you watch what they're doing. That's entertaining. Kraven hits those laugh out loud bad time at moments. It has better action, but it's more boring than even Madam Web. Fuck. I think I may be with you, Ruggs. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars as well. 0.5 point for the action, putting it just above Madam Web for me, but very close because it's not good.
Here's a quick thing to think about, too. We watched last week Punisher Warzone.
Yes.
It, for all intents and purposes, is a poorly made movie.
Yes.
Infinitely better than this fucking shit. I would watch Punisher Warzone on loop and not be mad about it.
Because it's got applesauce.
Yeah, it's got applesauce.
Well, yes.
It's got the fucking stupid lines.
Yes.
It's got the. I mean, you want to talk about if you want to fucking make an impact. Have a dude punch a hole in someone's face if you want the action to be remembered.
You're gonna go R-rated.
Have a dude twirl around upside down on a chandelier. What does this movie compare the action in that movie to this, which also is rated R? There's nothing. You're never gonna remember any of the action in this movie.
It's average. It's mediocre. The action, and I would agree with you there. Punisher a little more memorable.
At least if you're gonna make a bad movie, make it like Warzone.
What would be your favorite out of these? Out of the 6.
Oh, I love Venom 3.
You like the third one the best?
I do.
I would do the third Venom and then maybe the first Venom. I'd still
first Venom is pretty entertaining.
Is very because
it's stupid as fuck.
Yeah. I think that both of those are decent.
I mean, Last Dance is just unforgettable. Forgettable, not unforgettable. It's very forgettable. All of these movies, though, ultimately very forgettable is what happens.
Well, the only thing that's memorable, and it's what Ruggs mentioned earlier, which is, I guess, not really even a Venom thing, is the dynamic between Tom Hardy and Venom.
Yeah. And it is Hardy that saves that, and I'll still remember him sitting in the fucking tank with the lobster. It's like hilarious. So it's his quirkiness that really does anything out of any of these movies. Now, circling back to that story about that these aren't done. They're going to put a pause on these. Remember, they had ideas like Sinister Six. They wanted to do Silver Sable. There was going to be a Silk thing, Black Cat.
It was going to be Silver and Black, right?
Silver
Sable and Black Cat. What else did they want to do? Silk?
Silk. They were going to do something with Silk.
Are any of these good?
No, not now. I think they're pausing this, and I don't know why. Do you think
the worst idea? I don't know how Madam Web got greenlit.
Yes.
Like how do you make a movie about an old lady?
That makes no sense. If you know this character,
you don't. You make it about a young lady.
Make it about 3 young ladies.
That to me, I mean, the other movies I can see in a way you can make the movie, but Madam Web, I mean,
but like Madam Web, the main character's acting is so horrible, and the way she delivers her lines in ADR, I don't even know. And the whole story about this, it just
some people are calling Kraven the Tommy Wiseau's The Room of these, but Madam Web is absolutely the Room of this set of movies.
Like Madam Web is way more like you can watch it just for the fucking. You can't believe what you're watching. I think that Kraven is more just of a failure in the editing room.
Yeah,
like just
yeah. You're right. There isn't the horrible. I mean, there's really campy acting performances, but Dakota Fanning and the dude playing the other guy that's ADR'd for most of the movie.
The bad guy. It's amazing.
Legitimately bad acting.
Like that movie made me think this was a prank. I was looking around going, is this for real? This is a real movie? Did you see that? He's not saying any of this shit. It's so bad. It didn't bother me as much as Kraven. Madam Web was hilariously obvious to me. But do you think this makes Sony think about selling back the rights to Spider-Man at all? Or are they...
Look, if they're not going to be able to fucking do anything good with it, they should just cash in and get rid of it. But like, I really am beside myself with the level of fucking poor talent at Sony. Like, terrible producers, terrible studio heads.
Shocking.
Horrible writing and horrible editing that they do. The fact that they can't hit home runs.
I don't understand how they can sit and watch any of these movies and be like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, release it. It's good for like, really? Who is fucking where's your the other articles mentioned they are going to focus more on quality control. You don't say, you fuckers. That's something you need. I think just cast your own Spider-Man. You could have cast your own Spider-Man if that was not contractual and you just thought it would confuse people. You people are fucking idiots. You should have cast your own
They made their own Spider-Man movie with Spider-Man 2, which was Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is not a good movie.
So this whole
either.
run from the first Amazing Spider-Man to 2 to then the Venom movies and this, how does one studio, they'll give you Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi, and the Into the Spider-Verse movies, which are amazing, and then give you fucking this and Madam Web? I don't understand. I don't understand how it could swing.
Well, I think that after Spider-Man 2, the studio started stepping in and fucking with Raimi, right?
Yeah, and he got the fuck out.
And they've just not been able to get their fucking grimy hands. Get the fuck away. Let the person that you hired do it.
It's Avi Arad. Like, it reeks of studio interference.
Yeah, it's just when when you're doing this look back at Sony and these past, from Spider-Man 3 on, as far as live action.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a level. I mean, it's got to be just a level of incompetence that is just unbelievable. I mean, how is it possible to release that many bad movies
over and over again?
I'm just saying they made Spider-Man 2, which is arguably one of the best movies that's ever been made in the genre.
Spider-Verse movies had Lord and Miller as, creators, and they have a unique style.
Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Verse movies are all really good stuff.
So they have simultaneously made the best Spider-Man shit and the absolute worst Spider-Man shit out there, which is just crazy. But
I don't know.
Ultimately, I don't know what you're doing, Sony, and take a pause and focus on actually having Spider-Man.
I also would have Aaron Taylor Johnson again really got ripped.
Yeah,
I would have casted some fucking Eastern European.
I think he was miscast in this. It's not Kraven. Like,
he's too pretty boy.
He's too pretty boy, and it's not the fucking character. If you've played the second Spider-Man game, like, there's a great version of Kraven. That's the Kraven. They can do it in video games. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Video games is a different I mean, it's clear that everyone involved from the top down that is making the live action Spider-Man movies just really needs to rethink what they're doing.
Like, who can you blame? Do you blame the director? Do you blame the producers?
They should just clean that out and just all those guys, anyone that's involved with this stuff, just fire them.
Yeah.
Because it's clear they don't know how to do this.
Yes, it's going to be hard to forget these ever happened, and what a time.
It's legitimately difficult to do what they're doing and make.
You have to actively try to make something this bad.
They're sabotaging their own movies.
Yes, it's wild. Yeah. So here, let me wrap this up. I have a set of clips to play for the management over at Sony and this whole Spider-Man universe that kind of sums it all up. Here we go.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I think that's about right.
Yeah. Billy Madison.
I'm just looking through Reddit because I was trying to find lines in this movie that were horrible.
Yes.
And the one I've just come across right now is a line delivered by Calypso in the movie. She goes, "She died not long after that, and I never saw her."
I remember that. I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Did you say she died and then you never saw her again? Oh my Lord. I love him going, "To become a legend, you must kill a legend." Like, just the most over-the-top Russian fucking accent.
Calypso got that actress got the worst shit she could ever get.
If I was her and I watched this, I would be so fucking mad what they did to you. Fucking think like she's an Oscar winner. What happened here? Just shoehorned in for no reason and too many things. Oh, what a disaster.
That's almost as good though as in Madam Web when she gets seen by the doctor and the doctor goes, "Go home, get some rest, and watch some old movies."
And she does.
She does. She goes and watches some old movies.
The doctor told me I need to watch some old movies. Where do I find Eternal Classic Movies? Where do I gotta go?
Although this line, "died and never saw her again," that's pretty bad. I mean, do you even?
Yeah, she died, and then I just fucking never showed up for anything.
That's strange.
Dude, I mean that's there's
bad.
a writer there that wrote that line.
Yeah, somebody wrote that.
That's paid. Someone is paid to write and wrote that.
And then several people were like, "Yeah, that's fine. I didn't see,
That's fine.
I don't see any problem with this."
Let's not ADR over that
Yeah,
one.
that we'll keep. We're gonna keep that's gold. All the line, let's ADR over them.
The other one is when I go by Kraven with a K.
With a K. That is as bad as Call Me Jigsaw, although the Jigsaw is a lot better. Like, why, Kraven? Why did you come up with it? What is the reason? What have you been doing this whole time?
How do you make money?
How do you make money?
How do you have a private?
Why do you live in the biodome? Yeah, who's that girl?
Who's the girl?
They don't show you.
Who is the fucking girl?
What? And what was in that serum?
Why did they not want to show the girl?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. It's fucking.
It's
bad.
just like in Venom 3, the guy standing in the room with the monitors, and they never showed you who it was, and he was calling all the shots, and I'm like, what is happening here?
Why? That's a great point. I don't know. I don't understand.
Honestly,
why
these
this.
6 movies should be studied in the future because it's mind-boggling. The decisions.
Well, it's also like Spider-Man 2, where they had the dude with the hat going around to the cells and like dropping little things about
Norman
how you build
Osborn,
a team.
I think.
No, not the dude. Oh, was it?
At the end of the movie? Yeah.
Well, we don't know that though because they never reveal who that.
Yeah.
That they love doing this where they have these like characters in the background, and you're like, who the fuck is that? We're not going to show you. We don't care.
And just the balls to think there's going to be another movie. The way you're setting things up. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, let's do some news from the nation. We do have some more thoughts about the movie.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Listen, not a lot of people went to see this movie. I just have 2 comments. One first from Jose Ibarra. He says it was terrible. I was legit falling asleep. Did they explain why the children of Russian parents with deep Russian accents living in London had American accents? No, they didn't.
I think they were living in America.
They're
going to school in America.
You should have a little bit. They didn't explain that. They didn't explain the syrup. I also was falling asleep during the flashback. Joe Henry says, I thought it was okay. I liked it better than Let There Be Carnage. Kraven needed to have an accent the whole time, but it wasn't a bad movie. It's just a good B-movie flick. Everyone expects Avengers, Infinity War, and Spider-Man No Way Home every time. I mean, I guess it works as a B-movie.
I did not expect anything good from this movie.
I think Joe's being a little too kind. I don't know that a movie, because it's not Avengers Infinity War, doesn't mean that it's not.
I expect it to make sense, and I expect to have characters fleshed out and just basic.
You expect someone not to expect to see a dead person again. I never saw them again.
I
don't know how that happened. They're dead.
It's odd. I expect tarot cards to fly in the wind, not just sit there.
You got gale force winds, like people's laying a nice little playing card on the table, not even moving at all.
Yo, shout out to tarot cards. They made an appearance in Agatha, and they got a cameo here. It's a big year.
There you go.
Big year for tarot. I got a comment from Pete Matzes about our Friday the 13th review from like 2 weeks ago. He says, once again, I'm loving your continuation of horror movies, even though the first Friday the 13th is definitely the weakest movie. The first Child's Play was always one of my favorites. Hope you do that one next. Just a suggestion. Thanks. And then he says, just thought of another favorite of mine. How about a holiday classic like Gremlins? And it made me realize I was obsessed with Gremlins when I was a kid. I do love that movie. And I
wouldn't mind doing either.
I think both of those are not bad picks. And like holiday.
I remember the original Child's Play actually being pretty not too bad.
I don't think I've ever seen the first Child's Play, but I've damn sure seen Gremlins many times. I had a little Gizmo stuffed animal thing that I saved box tops from cereal to order this fucking thing. This is how obsessed I was with fucking Gremlins when it came out. So thanks, Pete, for enjoying the horror reviews and those suggestions.
I like Gremlins.
It's not quite.
I like turtles.
I like Gremlins. Rugs, you like Gremlins?
I like Gremlins.
You have fond memories of Gremlins?
I can't.
Anyways,
I do like Gremlins.
Look, we're gonna finish up.
I like Gizmo. I like Howie Mandel doing the voice of Gizmo.
The rules and stuff, and there's a lot of good moments.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Never. Don't get them wet. Anyways, finish up with what are we watching? So the 2 big shows out right now: Skeleton Crew, 3 episodes out. Creature Commandos, 3 episodes out. Fellas, what have you watched?
I've watched all of this.
Anthony.
I have not done Skeleton Crew, but I have done Creature Commandos.
Let's start with quick thoughts on Creature Commandos. There may be spoilers. Who wants to go first? Anthony, go first.
this is this is up James Gunn's wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
This is, the ensemble cast, all misfit characters on a mission together, don't really like each other. Typical James Gunn. And it's good. I've watched the first 3 and I have to say I'm hooked. I really like it. I like how they introduced the squad in the first one, and then it seems like every episode now is going to be focused on a character. So the second one was Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. I thought that was really good. Yeah. I liked that origin. I fucking love G.I. Robot.
Oh my god, that's
so hilarious.
That episode was heartbreaking. Also,
I love. The lines where he's looking above and he's like, "This would be more beautiful if they were dead Nazis all around."
Are those Nazis? Are we killing Nazis now?
Are we going to go ahead and kill? Yeah, I mean his whole shtick is just great. I love everything about that episode. I thought that was my favorite one by far, even though I liked all the other ones prior. Yeah. But fucking G.I. Robot is awesome. This is great. I really like it. It's an easy watch. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that's awesome too. It's a breeze. It has the fun intro in the beginning. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say, and I like to me, it's a really good start to what Sony, excuse me, Jesus Christ, Sony, James Gunn's DC is.
Okay, soft launch works. He's got quirky needle drops, of course, very James Gunn. Ruggs, how's this hitting for you? Anthony's enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it as well, but I do think that the roster's kind of weak.
Okay,
the only characters I find compelling thus far are the Bride and G.I. Robot. Rick Flag Sr.'s okay, but
that's Frank Grillo.
Yeah, he's fine. He's Frank, but he's like as a character, he's not
kind of like the straight man too in this so far, right?
He's not like his. But so I know that they're alluding to Frankenstein showing up. That might be fun.
David Harbour,
which is David Harbour. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Like the Weasel's fine.
The Weasel is crazy.
I feel like that the show's good though. It's a fun time. I just wish the roster was better. It's kind of like you got to hand it to James Gunn. Even with a weak roster, he can make a good show.
Any group of fucking random people he can put together and make it enjoyable. I feel like we're gonna learn more episode at a time. Clearly, I've been enjoying it. I do think it's fun. The violence it reminds me of Invincible. I wish they were kind of longer. I feel like they're a little short. Where I like Invincible's runtime, but the sex stuff in this is kind of crazy. You
see boobies.
You see boobies. Rick Flag is banging the princess, but then to have the Frankenstein get cucked by the doctor while he's having sex with
that was
the
a cool
bride.
episode.
The Frankenstein creates a woman from parts for Frank and then has sex with her, and he walks in, and I was like, "Oh, this is all."
So wait, has every episode been like an origin, or just they started doing it on episode?
I think they started in 2. The first one is like getting them together, right, and introducing them, and then I think each one. And so I love that whole sequence where they're jumping through time, and you see like Shaggy from Scooby Doo in the background when they're in the 70s and how they've been fighting. But the G.I. Robot, spoilers for this, but. Oh man, the way they set up his character, I really instantly got attached to G.I. Robot, and it was so beautifully done and so efficiently. And then at the end, again, spoilers. Apparently, Cersei blows him up. I was like, no, I really felt sad because he did it perfectly. He set you up to love G.I. Robot and then blew him up.
But he's not dead, is he?
Well, I don't know. You can put him back together. He's a robot.
I love the swerve where there's an old guy that collects military stuff, and you're like, oh, this old guy's really sweet.
Yes.
He's putting a jacket on him, and then the old guy's a fucking Nazi.
And they go to a socialist
I love
party.
G.I. Robot's line where he just goes, oh boy.
You could see him get a fucking boner, right? He lights up. He's like, this is all I want to do. Nazis. It makes me happy. And so at the end, I love when Rick Flag tells him, yes, those are Nazis. So he's doing what he loves.
He's like cackling as he's like fucking.
He's loving it. Yeah, just spinning and killing.
He's like, I want to be with my boys.
Yeah.
He's like, why? Because you can blow up Nazis.
They give you. I think one of them was Sergeant Rock, which they may be working.
Which they're going to do. Which they might do a movie. Yeah.
And I think we're going to see Clayface in this.
Sergeant Rock, and apparently the guy they have in mind for him is Daniel Craig.
And it's going to be made by that guy Luca Guadagnino, who did Challengers and some other movies. So that's an interesting pairing.
That the ending though of this third episode with the Cersei is like, you fucked up, basically.
Oh,
Like, you
yeah.
know what you just did. I think that princess is not good. There's something going on there.
Because she was trying to kill her, and they stopped her, and they beat her down, and she's like, "You've doomed us all." Yes,
Right.
And that's Maria Bakalova. Great voice cast in all of these. Maybe we'll see him in live action. But yeah, I've been digging it. I wish it was a little longer, but it's all right. It's an easy watch at the 24.
The only it's a good start. I am very curious with Superman because that is the one where this is not James Gunn's typical type shit.
Yes, this is right up his alley. Right? It's just like everything else.
If you had a whole DC, I mean, yeah. If his whole universe is this type of shit, it's fun. Yeah. But that's not really DC.
Is it at this point? He's done it how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Is it wearing thin on anybody? Because it's the same shit 6 times now.
What do you mean? Which 6 times?
The 3 Guardians movies, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and this. It's all the same shit.
Right.
It's all the same shit.
It is all the same.
That's okay.
It is.
He's good at it. It's fun.
He knows he knows where his wheelhouse.
Can you do
is.
Superman like that? I don't know.
Can he do Superman?
Well, look, what he does is he takes very unknown characters and does what he wants with them.
Right.
Superman's not an unknown character.
Yes.
No.
He's the character, right?
Well, and also the original Creature Commandos, he chose this roster. So when you say you had a weak roster, I think he chose these characters because the OG Creature Commandos was all the like vampire, Frankenstein, werewolf. It was none of these guys.
I mean, I kind of Dr. Phosphorus is interesting. You know, that fight he had was kind of
the fight
interesting.
with him and Flag. That shows a nice thing.
He could have killed him and he didn't.
It's good.
Yeah, and the girl, the fish girl in the bubbles, had that was also sad because she had a thing for G.I. Robot.
I love the line where they're at the end of the second episode where they're on the ground and Bride's like, "Are you okay?" And she just goes, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, it's a great hard R. And then I think we're going to see Frankenstein and who else is on this roster? Yeah, Weasel is just the wild card. Like he just makes me
Weasel
laugh.
is just like a stand-in for the wolf.
Oh my god,
man.
he'll just come in and rip shit up. Like he makes me laugh.
We got to get origins for the Weasel, Dr. Phosphorus, the fish girl.
lady. Yeah, I don't even know what her name is.
She's supposed to be like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, right.
Another thing though, which I found interesting, is you're seeing what Gunn is doing in terms of. It's not a complete reboot. They are taking things from what he's done.
He mentioned Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
They mentioned the Suicide Squad when they talk about Weasel and Corto Maltese.
Yep.
And they also mentioned Peacemaker. Viola Davis is Amanda Waller in this.
Yep.
And they mentioned how at the end of Peacemaker she was shut down.
Same Waller. Yep. And that was her daughter. Yeah.
Like we talked about earlier, or last when what he's doing, Gunn is being a little bit selfish in that the things he made,
are still
the things that
are carried over. Yes,
that's the old. So far,
what a dick.
Listen, it makes sense. He's the head of the studio. He can do whatever he wants.
I guess he can do whatever.
Why
he wants.
wouldn't
I feel like he's an asshole?
Why wouldn't he pull just his shit
all
over?
we need to do now is get his wife in this somehow.
Oh, she'll be in the Peacemaker season and some other things. She's not even doing a voice in this, but he has some of the other same people. You know, his brother is G.I. Robot. Alan Tudyk is Dr. Phosphorus.
The guy that plays the guy that collects G.I. Robot. That's freaking.
Oh, who was that? That was
the guy from Cliffhanger and
Michael Rooker. It was Michael Rooker. It was the Yondu. That's right.
Yeah.
So he's got all his buddies. And we will see Frank Grillo live action in Superman as the same character. But yes, Rick Flag is dead. Peacemaker killed him. That's all canon so far.
Yeah.
So
is he going to be wearing a yellow shirt?
Yeah, probably. No, I don't know.
He should.
The set shots of him, he was wearing like a whole black armor thing. He wasn't wearing a yellow shirt.
Who are you?
You know me. Okay, let's quickly Rugs. Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I saw
1 to 3.
I'm curious what you guys think about that. I haven't seen.
What do you think, Rugs?
It's better than Alkalite.
Yes, and it would be hard to make it worse, but it is better than Alkalite.
It's better than Acolyte. It's fine. It's not bowling me over, but it's straightforward. It's Goonies in space is what it is, and it's fine. I think it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Thus far, it's an adventure and it's inoffensive, and it seems like they're doing the right things here. They're not. There's nothing like sticking out like a sore thumb that's bad at this point.
3 episodes in, I'm digging it. I find it very charming. The adventure is great. It is harkening back to classic Star Wars, like the original trilogy that George Lucas, he made this for kids. This thing kind of has that feel. The mysteries that they have given us about the planet these kids are on is great. And I do love the sense of adventure, and the kids aren't annoying. It's fun time. I'm actually digging it. It's well made. The acting's fun. I think it's pretty good. And I need to find out what's the deal with this planet, the mystery, like nobody knows it. And I got to find it.
It's called.
And nobody knows what the fuck this is. But there's some fun moments. It's not bad. Jude Law's pretty good.
So it's just, if you haven't seen it, it's about a kid who finds a spaceship, and him and his friends kind of get embroiled. They get lost in space, and they're trying to find their way
home. They got a
home.
droid that was on the spaceship that doesn't know where he was. It's very like Stand By Me, where instead of like, you guys want to see a dead body, he's like, you guys want to see a Jedi temple? But it's also curious. These kids don't know that there was a war that happened. They think the Jedis and the Siths are like myths, and they have action figures of them.
Yeah, Ad-Atten is kind of like the village from M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's been secluded, and
their parents, like everybody, kind of like they're created this like paradise, this utopia with they don't know anything about what happened. In the universe,
people think this planet is a myth, so they end up hyper. And I love the scene where the ship takes off, and then it goes into hyperspace, and they're all just screaming and terrified. Like that's exactly what kids would do when the thing. So they end up at a pirate port. They meet Jude Law and bad people, and they got to figure out how to get themselves back. And Neil is fantastic. I like
the wolf guy.
Oh, the wolf pie. Oh, and Jaleel White is in it.
Oh shit!
Fucking Steve Urkel.
Yeah, he's in it.
He's got
you could barely blink.
He's got like 2 lines so far. There might be more. But
that's awesome.
But Urkel is in it, so already, I mean, Family Matters, spin-off of Perfect Strangers, it's already got a place in my heart.
If he says you got any cheese,
he just shows up. Did I do that? Whoops. But it's better than Acolyte, and I think it's kind of like decent Star Wars.
It's the first decent Star Wars that we've had in a while.
So I feel like future Commandos we can review when the season ends. Anthony's on board. He's digging it.
I'm on board.
But you know what? They could fuck it up.
They
this
could.
like this. I don't want to like this show because I know
Skeleton Crew?
Yeah, at any moment they could fuck it up.
So what do we do with Skeleton Crew? Do we make Anthony watch this? I'm not really sure.
I think he would be fine watching it, but I don't.
It's not offensively bad as the Acolyte.
But like, I'll wait. Let's wait. I don't want to get all. Let's not get it crazy.
You know what else
here.
confuses me is I'm not sure who they think their target market is, right? Because if you love Goonies and Space Pirates and Stand By Me and E.T., this is exactly what they're trying to get. It has that feel. But the kids watching it these days, I don't think they really know that shit. I don't think they would connect.
No, they're not going to get the nostalgia from it.
They don't get the nostalgia. So, but I think that the adventure just must work the same for kids because it's definitely like if you were, growing up in the 80s, you're going to love this.
I feel like the first 2 episodes were pretty good. Third episode was decent. I feel like though that a shoe's going to drop any minute and it's going to get bad. But let's see what happens.
There's tons of aliens. The creature designs are kind of great.
No, but they alluded
lots of droids. There's a lot of Easter eggs.
They alluded to like some more characters coming in, and I think that once these guys come in, then they're gonna start doing the Disney bullshit again.
All right, so the verdict is out on making Anthony watch Skeleton Crew.
I think so far so good. Let's see what happens.
Okay, it's fun shit. It's fun. It's charming for the listener and for us. Watch alert out this week, December 22nd. What if season 3 starts?
Oh.
And we'll be dropping an episode every day until the 29th. Would you like to know the titles of these episodes?
Sure.
Here we go. The first episode. What if the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers? So that's going to be that Gundam thing we saw. What if Agatha went to Hollywood? What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier? What if Howard the Duck got hitched? What if the Emergence destroyed the Earth? What if 1872? Then the last 2 are weird. What if the Watcher disappeared? And the last episode is literally called What If? Is the last episode. And this is the end of this 3-season, this whole series. So we will have a whole Christmas time every day, new episode. continuing through the end of December. So we'll see how we do with that.
Okay.
But a lot of fun stuff to watch. So Creature Commando, Skeleton Crew, What If, lots of other things.
I did watch Snake Eyes.
Oh,
the movie.
yes. There is a Patreon review for our subscribers for 2021 Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe spin-off.
It wasn't good.
I've heard it's not good.
It's an action movie, though. It is an action movie with action movie things happening. There's ninjas.
Oh, there's ninjas.
But and they tried to do the Snake Eyes origin, but they kind of fucked it up. So, there's a glaring problem with the movie. But I did review it, so get on that Patreon and check it out, my friends.
Yes, and that's going to do it for this week. Make sure you check out our website, episode description, for links to things, all the things, the way to follow us, support us. Anthony, where can the people find you this week?
I'll be on the Discord this Thursday.
Oh, find them there. Ruggs, where can they find you other than the Discord? You will be there too.
I will be on the Discord. I'll be on X at Rugboy Show, and I'll be looking for drone footage.
Hide from those drones. Just stay in that bunker. Keep that tinfoil hat on. You'll be fine. They can't find you.
All right.
They won't be able to escape. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
This is going great.
little late there on the button, now, Imran.
What?
A little delayed on that outro.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Jock and Nerd.